You want to do what with my ears?
Alrighty, welcome to the recruiting. Get ready to get torn apart for anything you say in the next hour. But it's recruiting, pretty simple. We look at the player card, we get in the mind of that prospect, we read the pitches, we pitch which one we feel like is all-encompassing the best pitch for that player. I'm not gonna, because everyone harps that they think that not to make a pun harp, but they think that I lead people to answers. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut until we hear your guys' opinion. Because we're going to have, in some battles, only two people, you guys are going to have to mutually come together to make a decision. Okay? So,
Yeah.
like I want you, don't let me convince you. I need you guys have your own opinions. That's why you're here. But for some, we're going to have to come to a general consensus. I did pitch, so I'm going to stay completely quiet for mine, except if I have to uh, clarify things like a coach stability factor or whatnot, right? Like anything I have to tell you guys. So yeah, we'll get started. So the first player that we're going to be judging is wide receiver Xavion Luvu. He's a 2-star. He expected was 106,000. His top 3 deciding factors are nightlife, conference prestige, and earnings potential. Do either of you guys have a question on those factors and what they mean?
I'm pretty clear on that.
Pretty
Okay,
clear.
perfect. So this one, I'm looking at these. This looks pretty easy. You have Coach Green offering 2 of the exact same submission, and then we have Kansas State here offering 310,000. Hello, Xavion. This is Coach Smooth from Kansas State, and I'm showing heavy interest in you. I'm promising you if you come here a full ride and you'll be a day 1 starter. You like the nightlife? Well, Kansas is great. In the city, we have amazing nightclubs, place to eat, and just places to enjoy with friends. I know you want to be high conference, which is great, with the Big 12, which is ranked number 4th, and money. So he tells me who he is, the amount of money. This one's just one of the times where it's super easy. The only thing I need to confirm is how much money he has. And Kansas State. I mean, towards the bottom. He has plenty of money. So this one is going to be just an easy chalk for Kansas State. Any questions on that?
No, I mean it was Coach Green's. Coach Green offers 40K in a scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay,
this
yeah.
guy's
Give
going to
it
go
to.
to Kansas State. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
And
Did he
then,
offer 300, like 3 times the expected?
yeah. He had a
Okay.
budget. He has a budget to blow. He came in mid-season, so it does make sense. But it makes our life really easy. So next up, we have Harrison Hood, an outside linebacker. He is a 3-star. $256,000 is his expected NIL deal. Deciding factors are campus lifestyle, current success, and facility upgrades. And he is from West Virginia. Any questions on lifestyle, current success, or facilities?
Nope, that's pretty much.
All right. Well, I'm looking at this again. 2 from Coach Green, and then only one more response. You got hello Harrison. Who is this? I don't want to just read all of this. We have a lot of stuff to do. But 260,000 to come, because I cannot overstate how crucial you'll be. These are the promises, and this is Grady, who is Missouri. Just want to make sure in the Midwest we have a culture and Count of Columbia. Okay, perfect. So let me just make sure that he has this amount of money. Missouri. He has 260. He just uses the rest of his budget. That is perfect. All right, so that is another easy one. Let's go. Maybe no controversy this week. Okay.
See,
Fuck
this
you.
one has 9.
Yeah,
There's a
fuck you. Here we
quarterback
go.
this week.
Yeah,
What the
that's true.
fuck's wrong with you?
Okay. Did somebody just join? Llama?
Before you read them all off, tell us who all is offering.
Yes. Okay. So this is J.R. Swain, the cornerback. He also plays wide receiver, so that's something to take into account with these pitches. He is a 4-star. Expected NIL of 298,000. Number 1 is play style. Number 2 is conference prestige, and number 3 is coach stability. Okay, do you guys have a question on the top 3 factors before I explain the coach stability one?
Nope.
No? Okay. So coach stability, you go based off what they say, but I am also going to clarify what's actually happened in the server because that is an important part of this factor, right? You can't just lie to the recruit. It doesn't work like that. So now, do you guys want me to read my pitch or read all the pitches, or do you guys want to read the pitches?
I'm okay with you reading the pitch as
Yeah.
long as.
Okay.
I'm
So
okay.
first up is Coach Green. Once again, 40K. That puts you into number 1, but very unlikely to stay there. So hold on, I just got to finish Hood, Mizzou, and then UK. Okay, so now we're on to J.R. Swain. All right, so here is my pitch. Hey JR, Coach TC from ECU here. I saw your talent while on recruiting trips to my pipeline in Colorado and could not leave the Mountain West until I came over to Salt Lake to make my case on why ECU is the best destination for you to spend the next 4 years. First and foremost, our defensive scheme relies on speed and flexibility from our secondary players that can play all over the field. I see you are above average in every category skill-wise, so you should fit in perfectly. More specifically, your main job will be lining up in the slot, jamming receivers at the line with your elite press, and shadowing them via your elite man coverage. You fit my defensive scheme so much that I am promising you day 1 starter at cornerback in the slot. I'm also guaranteeing that you'll start on the defensive side for your entire career. ECU will also never redshirt you or give you a surprise redshirt late in your career like other big name schools such as Ole Miss or Kansas. The AAC is one of the most competitive conferences in the SFA and is consistently ranked as the top 1 or 2 G5 conferences in the country this season. As the top G5 program and the last undefeated team in the country, the American has become very prestigious and nationally relevant with the rise of my program. We currently have 2 of the 3 remaining teams in contention for the G5 auto bid for the CFP. In addition, prestige is gained with history, and the AAC is home to some of the most prestigious universities in SFA history with the likes of Cincinnati, Old Dominion, Appalachian State, and Marshall. We also lead the G5 with 3 current members' playoff appearances, with a 4th bid likely coming in 2 weeks. In terms of coach stability, I am in my 6th year as the ECU head coach and have zero interest in building up any other program. I invested millions into the Greenville and ECU community to call this place home for the remainder of my career. I've never considered outside offers, have never been at risk of being fired, and have never broken a promise to a recruit. I take great pride in the program and will never deviate from my desire to win a national championship here and take ECU to the ACC in the future. Now, outside the pitch, to clarify, you have to consider, along with what I just said for coach stability, that I have considered recently just stop coaching and just being the commissioner. So that's something that for stability you have to consider. With the name Swain, meaning a young lover or suitor, a new dating app called Swain Swipe has agreed to give you $350,000 to come play ball for ECU and be the new spokesperson for the dating app. You will be seen in ads showing off your lightning quick reflexes, swiping as you navigate the world of online dating, and youth with extremely short attention spans. You will be known as Love Jr. in these ads, or Love JR. I am also going to give you access to my personal expansive collection of Latina juice. Come to the ship. All right, so that is the completion of my pitch. Once again, the only other pitch is Kentucky. All right, so now we'll go to the next one. So next is Dave in Penn State. Hey there, JR. This is Dave of the Penn State Nittany Lions. I'd like to offer you a full ride scholarship and an NIL deal of $261,400 from our friends at Icy Hot. Like Icy Hot being a world-renowned two-way product, you'll be known as the two-way player of the year, playing both wide receiver and corner. We've seen guys have success in the Big Ten playing 2 positions and think you'll join the ranks of Desmond Howard, Jabril Peppers, and Banks McBurnfinger. I'd love to offer you more, but that's our last pennies after already signing 2 guys you play defense on, Sonny Myers and Mustafa Farouk. We've got decent but not great playmakers at wide receiver and cornerback, and I can guarantee if you come to State College, you'll play both positions and will not be limited to one. We run a pro-style offense with a future NFL QB in Verlo, and you'll be also paired with upcoming star Terrell Pryor, who we are grooming at the position. Defensively, we run a 4-3 and switch out corners actively. The Big Ten is always one of the highest ranked conferences. We are about to put 2 teams into the playoffs from my division and have 2 9-2 teams in the West in or on the cusp of a top 10 ranking. There's no other conference as competitive as the top, and honestly, with the way we've recruited so far, I think you could have a Michigan State type year this season. Lastly, I wanted to put out there that there are no truths in me leaving State College this offseason. We had a good recruiting class, a pipe in Pennsylvania, and I'm an alum, and it would have to take something really special to get me out of Happy Valley. Now, once again, to clarify Coach Stability, whatever he just submitted, plus he has had a little fun, making little media stories here and there about him being at the Rose Bowl or that sort of stuff, but he's clarified that they're all just for recruits and that there's no issues with Stability.
All right.
So now this is where you guys decide who's above who before we go on to the next pitch.
Read me let me read the first one real quick.
Yeah, so this is the ECU one. It starts up here. Let me know when to scroll.
Honestly, it'd be so much easier if we could like copy and paste these into the Discord chat.
I could probably do that here. So for the VOD, I'm just copying and pasting directly. And never mind, this is too big. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's hard to read on the screen because
Yeah, no,
Discord only lets
absolutely.
you
So
make it
there's the
big.
first few paragraphs. And then here is the last 2. That's ECU submission.
Mhm.
And then I'll also post quickly. This is Dave's.
Okay. So for play style,
I think in
see,
my
my only
opinion,
issue, I'm looking right now. I'm looking at the play style, right? TC does not say anything. He doesn't say what his scheme is. He says that the corner will be lining up in the slot, jamming receivers, and shadowing them with elite man coverage. Fit my defensive scheme. Okay. And then Penn State also does not mention defensive scheme, but does mention pro-style offense.
He does say he runs a 4-3 and switch out corners actively.
Okay.
true.
Okay. So when it comes down to the actual play style, let's see. We got a wide receiver, corner. He's good at press and he's good at man. A 4-3 would be good for that. 4-3 zone isn't really. Hmm. I'm gonna ignore promises for not totally ignore promises. I'm just going through the wants and kind of judging them. So I'm ignoring the promises as part of that. We'll come back to the promises later. I'm gonna say I'd have to give play style to Penn State there, just because TC doesn't name the scheme that he runs. So it's kind of like, okay, I know I'll be playing in the slot, but what am I? What are we doing?
Yeah, it's a little more detailed.
Yeah. Right.
State.
Next up, we got. Does Penn State's thing end on Happy Valley?
Yes.
Okay.
Take something really special, get me out of Happy Valley. Yes, I have everything posted here. It's little over. It's 2 paragraphs with some text in between.
And then we're looking at conference prestige, AAC. Just top 1 or 2 G. All right, he does a good job explaining AAC.
Yeah. There's a lot of detail about how, like, the AAC has been performing. There's like an entire paragraph on that in TCs. We have about like half a paragraph in Penn State's about it. And they're both prestigious conferences. They're both high-ranked conferences.
This is gonna be controversial because obviously the Big Ten is a more prestigious conference, but I feel like TC does a better job.
Yeah, he brings up like
Yeah, he's naming.
past
Like, yeah,
seasons.
we've had these people in. We've had this many teams in the playoff. He says we are about to put 2 teams in the playoff from his division, have 2 9-2 teams in the West, or in or on the cusp of the top 10 ranking. Okay. There's no other conference as competitive at the top. This is a tougher one.
Yeah.
Looking at stability. And I know what you said about, you've talked about leaving, like stop coaching and go into commissioning, but I'm going off what's in the pitch for this. Because until it's in the press, I don't really consider it. A pipe in
Both
Pennsylvania.
seem pretty. Like
Both of them.
They're both like pretty assuring in that they're going to be staying.
Mm-hmm. It would have to take something really special to get me out of Happy Valley.
And then, whereas TC says he will never deviate from his desire to win a national championship here in ECU.
I'd say, okay. So we have 1 for Penn State in scheme. We have a tie in the middle for conference prestige. And I would give TC.
Yeah.
This is tough.
I would give TC the slight edge in
Yeah.
stability. So right now it's looking pretty locked in, tied.
Okay.
So this would be where we put in
All right, and then NIL.
NIL, GC is offering 350,000.
For a dating app, which kind of funny.
That's creative. I like that. And then Penn State's got 261,400.
I mean, there's both of them have a story.
Mm-hmm.
I love the icy hot, but 350 to 261 is too big a difference.
It's almost 100,000 nil. So
Okay. TC, or I think TC gets this one. You agree?
Yeah, I agree
All
with
right.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so we still have some pitches to go through, but I do appreciate how you guys are going through them. You know, give the people a good explanation. So this pitch right here is disqualified
Holy fuck.
because Llama, he wanted to change stuff, and so he said do the one that has my official pitch, my first one. I forgot to copy and paste. So this kid wrote a shitload. So I'm gonna start reading. Hi
Just
JR.
copy and paste, brother. God
All right,
damn, what? This is a
I'll
lot.
copy and paste, but I do need to read for the video.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you guys read it or whatever.
yeah, we'll read
Oh
along
my
with
god, dude, how is that too much? Okay,
That's a
hold on.
lot of That's a lot of
A lot of
words.
text here. Still not enough, bro. What are we doing? Well, okay. All right, there's that. So plentiful is the last thing I posted, right? So now we'll
Yes.
go here. I'm just copy and pasting into DMs here so that they can just skim while I also read it. Just give me a second. As you can see on the video, I am not skipping any texts. I'm not going to paste this part in because this doesn't matter. Okay, the whole thing has been pasted for you guys to read.
Jeez.
Hi JR, Coach Llama here from the Florida State University Seminoles here, and you are the perfect types of players and person we are looking for on our recruiting rounds each season. Your character, work ethic, play style, academic success, and relationships with those around you. We have decided to offer you a full ride scholarship to FSU plus an NIL deal, and you're thinking, why FSU over every other school in need of talent? Well, here's why. First off, I love myself, a multitasker, and during your time at high school, you have proven you can do just that with your wide receivers, cornerback abilities, being on ESPN so many times throughout your illustrious career. My team of scouts has watched you grow from a scared kid under the lights to one of the best performers in the nation, truly. And with our play styles, and we'll highlight your ability to play now with our offensive aggressiveness, 65, conservative 35 splits, you will know what it's like to take risk and absolutely air the ball out. Any chance we get, I mean, look at Braxton's numbers. 5th in the nation for passing, and Mike Evans is number 3 for receiving, so your opportunities at FSU will be plentiful. While I am not guarantee you 4-year starter, no redshirt, instant starter, a Balentikoff finalist, and a playoff berth while you're under me. Okay, so he's saying, while I will also not promise, I guarantee you. So he's guaranteeing 4-year starter, no redshirt, instant starter, a Balentikoff finalist, and a playoff berth while you play under me. Or a Jim
Or
Thorpe Award final, depending on where you play you during your career. Now our conference. The ACC has a storied history of being one of the toughest conferences to win. And I mean, just look at 2 weeks ago, game versus BC. We came in and handled business while nobody thought we could. That isn't to discredit us. Our conference produced so many good teams every single game is a must win because of just how competitive it gets every season without fail. Our conference has a pretty low number of natty 8. We will have a chance to improve that number with you on our roster surely. Coach stability. Well, I'll be the first to admit those rumors float around me potentially switching schools and leaving this beautiful program. Those are just rumors. I fully are committed to the Seminoles tradition throughout the next 4 years of your life here at FSU. And I do not make promises that I do not think I can uphold. So my lofty promises show just how much I believe in you as a person, player, and family member because I treat all my players as a family. After all, I want to see all of your wonderful names called on draft day, which leads me to my next promise. You will be a first or second round pick. Once it's all said and done, now if you're not sold on that, here's plenty of other factors we can provide to you. So to clarify coach stability for him, last season he did hear 5 offers and he decided to stay at FSU. He's also consistently, same with Coco last week, expressed heavy interest in going to LSU. So, next, far from home. You were born and raised in Salt Lake City, where is a wonderful town, but you don't don't you want to explore the sunny skies and warmy sandy beaches of Florida? While not to mention all the new experiences living in the outside on the other side of the country will provide you just think of blazing hot summers, nice warm winters, and no more snow. How wonderful is that? Next, our conference or our championship contention. While we have underdelivered in recent years due to injuries, whatnot, we are always in the hunt for the playoffs till the very end. No doubt we'll fight until there's no one to doubt or underestimate us anymore when we raise a national championship banner and trophy, as for mentioned earlier. Your pro potential is spectacular. We constantly produce high quality NFL players, not to mention how many alumni are in NFL front offices and head coaching staffs as of recent. 4. Our academics we are top 20 in the nation in terms of our academics. Which, while this sentence is short, there isn't much that hasn't been said about how prestigious our school is. The nightlife here is spectacular. I mean, just ask our players. The parties we throw are unbeaten. Any night is a party night when you are enrolled at FSU. 6. Stadium atmosphere. To start us off, our wonderful mascot before the kickoff of each home game, Ocelot, rides down the field on his horse named Renegade and plants a flaming spear at midfield. I mean, how sick is that? Next is the famed war chant. It's one of the most legendary sounds of college football and is instantly unforgettable for anyone who comes to FSU for a game. Also, the statue of Bobby Bowden that every fan sees coming into the stadium, and how legends are burned into the FSU atmosphere and history. Someday, I hope to put you on a statue right next to Bobby Bowden. No one knows how this tradition got started, sadly, but it is a menacing chant for a local earnings potential. Sadly, our AD only has 156,000 left to or over to give you, but not to fret. We'll cover every other one of your expenses. My crab leg restaurant will sponsor you and promote you every day of every week of every year to make up for the lack of money. FSU legend James Winston infamously had his favorite meal of crab legs, which his favorite spot was Llama's crab legs. 7th, lastly, I want to tell you about my activity of me. There isn't a day you won't see me. I always make sure to provide entertainment, help, and knowledge for all my recruits, as I believe a happy team is a winning team. I am one of the most active in chat. While I could do more to interact in the BearCave, but this concludes all the factors as to why you should be a Florida State Seminole. Whether you listed them or not, we want to show you truly why FSU should be your next home. Signing off, Coach Lama, and then his disclaimer.
Okay, I would like to say, anyone watching the VOD, please don't do this.
Yeah.
This is a lot, and we have to read a lot of other ones as well. So he's offering 156,000 in NIL, promising 4-year starter, no redshirt, award finalist, a playoff appearance, and a first or second round draft pick. All right, so let's look at the actual things. It doesn't name a scheme, but does says offensive aggressive 65 conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Does say they air the ball out a lot, and lists 2 players with high passing yards. Okay, you know, doesn't mention defense much.
Yeah. If at all, and it doesn't. He doesn't really mention it in specificity at all. So
Okay, I would put that.
yeah.
I'd have to put that below Penn State and TC, or not Penn State. Yeah, Penn State. So
Yeah.
I'd put that under that. I'd put that in third place.
Play scheme is third.
ACs.
Campus prestige.
Yeah, I'd say
Basically,
this is third place right now. See, here he
Can you agree?
says
Oh,
yeah.
he
go ahead.
says coach stability. While I'll be the first to admit there are rumors afloat of me potentially switching schools and leaving this beautiful program, those are just rumors, and I fully are committed to the Seminole tradition throughout the next 4 years of your life here at SFU. And I do not make promises that I do not think I can uphold. So, is he saying he promises to be at FSU for the next 4 years?
That's
There
what
is
I'm
that how?
gathering, yes.
Are we interpreting it as that?
Yeah, I can safely say that that's what he's saying, yeah.
All right.
Holy mother of promises! This This feels like you're abusing promises. No, I don't want to say that, but I mean, this is a lot. Are there okay? Wonderful town, Brazil.
There's a lot here. I just don't think it.
The ACC is a strong conference.
I just don't think it hits as directly as TC's or Dave's.
Mm-mm. And then just promises kind of start to lose meaning when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 promises in a pitch. And he's pitching 156K, which
Which is,
expected was 298. So that's just barely half of it. I say
and
this is a
it's
third place pitch.
yeah, and it's 200,000 less than TC's, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, 100. Yeah, it's 100,000 less, Dave, and almost 200,000 less than TC. So this is third place.
All right, so moving on, I just pasted Kansas State here. Hello, JR. This is Coach Smooth from the Kansas State Wildcats. We are interested in you. So if you come to Kansas State, we are promising you a day and a full ride scholarship. So we are promising you a day and a full. So he doesn't actually say day one starter, even though that's what he probably means. So you can't. We can't consider that. We're promising you a day. That doesn't make any sense. So we have coaches for your player styles that make sure you strap the best of the best and also cook the best of the best. We will have you looking Randy Moss and Deion Sanders, and if you want, um, to be won't to be in a good conference, well, the Big 12 is number 4 in the rankings, offer you 330,000.
Yeah, there's no specifics in play styles.
We're promising you a day, so you get to live for 24 hours. A full ride scholarship. We have coaches for your player styles that make sure. Oh, I was reading it. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Make sure you strap the best of the best. Also cook the best of the best. We'll have you looking Randy Moss and Deion Sanders.
There's no
If you
specificity.
want to be in a good, i- if you want to be in your want to be in a good, I he has the money, but I'd say it's
And
fourth
TC
place.
has more.
There's not really a doesn't talk about scheme, doesn't talk about stability. He does say, Big 12 is number 4 in the conference rankings, but
Exactly. That's one sentence that actually hits on something out of the whole thing.
Coach Green offers 40K in a football scholarship. Shit, first
Yeah,
place right
so
there.
he's
First
out
place.
too. Okay, so moving on. J.R. Swain, we at Arkansas would like to offer you a full ride scholarship to our school. I back in high school played cornerback and wide receiver, so I know a thing or two about finding the diamonds out there, and you have a great future here. We use a spread offense that has a lot of plays that will air out the ball. This year we did have a top rushing leader running back, but we mainly play spread, and that I can plan on doing that more this year and in the coming years as I plan on being a Razorback for years to come. We at Arkansas area top school and are in one of the highest rated conferences in the NCAA. We have a great history and send multiple players to the NFL regularly. Along with coming here, part of your signing scholarship will be a $400,000 check with your name on it. We hope to see you in red soon. Sincerely, Coach Bohr.
Okay. Doesn't touch on defense, but names an offensive scheme.
Yeah.
Um, you can
Yeah.
have a top rushing leader and still play spread. A la fucking what's his name at Oregon? Chip Kelly. Great spread offense that ran the ball very well. Arkansas area top school and are in one of the highest rated. He's in the SEC. They have a great history, some multiple players NFL regularly. All right, so let's compare this to the player card. Play style, a spread offense, a slot receiver. Yeah, no, he used the slot receiver to spread. Um, which not much in the in one of the highest rated conferences in NCAA, SEC. $400,000 might be enough to put him, but he doesn't give a story for it. That might be enough to put him in third place.
I could see that he does touch on stability and
Yeah, he does say he'll be there for years to come.
years.
And haven't seen nothing about him leaving. He's had a great season at Arizona State.
Yeah, and
How
to
many seasons has he been
clarify,
there?
he's a first-year head coach, so this is his first
Okay.
season.
Alright,
He was here at the beginning of
first
the
black.
season, though, so it's at this point 1 full year.
Alright, I'm at half a
So, yeah, I'd still say third place because Dave's been here for more
year. Yeah,
I
and
believe this is his second full season.
okay. Yeah,
Dave
I'd
and
I'd,
TC were more
I'd put that
specific
at third place.
about their stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that all of
Last
them?
one. No, there's one
Okay.
more here. This is Coach Rick out of Arizona State. I'm going to paste it in here so we do it the same for everyone. All right, hello, Mr. Swain. I'm Coach Rick from Arizona State, offering you a chance to play for the defending Pac-12 conference champion Sun Devils. In addition to a scholarship, I'm offering $314,400 in NIL deals already secured. We are the big dogs in one of the most successful conferences in the SFA. In addition to that, I've made it clear in public and in private that there is not much that could take me from this location, despite what you may hear from other coaches who can't recruit honestly. In addition, I promise you that you will be part of a defensive unit that will be in the top 15 yards per game at least 3 seasons of your tenure. Addition to guaranteeing you won't only be a first year starter, but you will also be a guaranteed second year starter as well. I hope to hear from you soon. Now, to clarify, Coach Stability, he said literally, I think it was 2 weeks ago to a recruit. Um, the only way I will leave Arizona State is if I get offered the Minnesota job. And Minnesota is not in a place that's going to be making a coaching change as of right now. So take that as you will.
Okay.
Doesn't touch on scheme.
Basically just says
Doesn't
that
talk
it's
about
a
how
top 15 yards per
he
game.
says Pac-12 and says it's one of the most successful conferences. Not much backing it up like the others had.
Hmm. I think it's
Yeah,
good in
that I
it's
don't
good
think that
for
makes
stability
podium.
as well.
Okay, so are you
Especially
guys locking in ECU, then Penn State, and then Arkansas?
yes, that is
Yep,
my
Okay.
ECU,
decision.
Penn State, Arkansas. And
All right.
then you said you pitched for the quarterback, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
All
it
right.
looks like
So we
it's
have
you and
7
me.
responses. Once again, I know Hawk, you're here and you're not going to do this, but just in general, your own opinion. Don't let me sway you. If you actually think one should win over the other. Also, nobody here be afraid of people backlashing. There's 2 weeks in this system left. Let's just make the best decision we can with the info we have, and really the backlash doesn't matter because it's not happening next season. So, Tavarius Trace is a 5-star quarterback. Yes, he was based off Trace McSorley before we switched to um, non-real players. So player card. Trace is from Maryland. He is a 5-star. The expected NIL is $376,000. Earnings potential is 1. Nightlife is 2. And coach stability, oddly enough, again, is 3. Any questions, Big Hawk, on any of these 3?
No, I think we're pretty good. Earnings potential is just money, right?
It's money, but remember, same with everything, they are broad. So if somebody tries to make a workaround, we have to listen to it and see if it's worth listening to, right? And make that judgment call. So first, Tavarius, can I call you Tave or Tav? Coach Skyflyer with the Houston Cougars here, and I would love to have you on scholarship next year to be my starting quarterback. To prove how big of a deal you are to me, I'm willing to offer you $330,400 in NIL with the Home Depot to make you the face of the Houston, bigger than anybody on the Texans, and your face everywhere with every dollar that the school allocates me out of pocket for you. The night scene in Houston is among the best in the country. Dance bars, sports bars, clubs. The Proof nightclub is one of the best nightclubs in the entire country. And with a one phone call, I can get you the exclusive A-tier VIP pass. Sounds nice? Any girl you want in the club, drinks, food, all on the house for you with that pass. I feel like my stability as a head coach is very reputable as well. In just one short season, we've went from 5-6, missing a bowl. When I got my guys under me, we've turned it into an 11-1, number 7 team in the country, on the brink of a playoff bid with nobody in the country scoring like we are, dominating like we are. And the thing is that in a half pass-heavy offense, I think you've already a better quarterback than who we will have throwing passes right now. I would love to have you as a member of my squad. I feel like you fit what we are looking for and what we're building perfect, and certainly the last missing piece in what already is a national contending team. If you want to be part of the best G5 team in the country, come to Houston and let's win a national championship together, Tavarius. So, just before we discuss, clarifying coaching stability. Obviously, it's been all season kind of talking about leaving and then giving the team to SDSU. But because SDSU committed 2 years, which is obviously you, to them in the future, the only other thing he's mentioned is how he doesn't want to be in this conference anymore. He wants to go somewhere with users. But because you reaffirmed that you were staying for the next 2 seasons, we got to take that into consideration. So what do you? This is the first pitch. This is obviously number 1.
So what I'm thinking, the NIL deal 330, it's below expected. Has a story. I don't know if this really matters. Home Depot's not really tied to Houston in any way. Headquartered out in Georgia.
Do they have Home Depots in Houston though? Have you seen them?
I mean, we have Home Depots, but
Okay. Well, yeah, but yeah, it's not like a thing in Houston, right?
yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to tie directly to the school or the city. I think what he did for nightlife is exactly what you want. You give them a bunch of options, and then you go into detail about all the bonuses of being a Houston player. Um, as long as that kind of stuff's true, which I assume it is, Houston's a big city. That's a pretty good
Yeah,
pitch as well.
yeah. There's clubs and shit.
Yeah. All right, so
Houston.
let's keep going. So Coach Green offers Tavarius Trace $40K in a football scholarship. That's number 2. Any questions there?
Yes. So Coach Green, another excellent pitch. His words have really wowed me. I think it's an undisputed so
To
far
be
number
fair,
one.
he does only have 40K, so he might as well pitch it, right?
I mean, dude, do what you gotta do.
Yes, sir. All right, so Tavarius, Georgia Southern would love to bring you to be our next legendary quarterback. We want you to be in line to lead this team to even bigger success. In terms of earnings potential, we know that we do not meet your expected line for NIL, but with that said, we are giving you our entire budget for the year, with a large increase in our budget coming next year. So, while our budget is not impressive this year, we will be aiming to get even better players next season to put around you. The future earnings potential of you coming here is massive, though. If you come here, you'll be a 4-year starter without question. I promise you'll not be redshirted. I promise you will not be benched or replaced by another recruit. And I promise that you'll be a day 1 starter for all 4 years of your career here at JSOW. That's 4 years of growth and development that you'll be able to get for your future jump to the NFL. G5 quarterbacks are becoming more common in the NFL. All they need is experience while they are in college to truly grow into pro-ready prospects. You'd be the unquestioned leader and starter here for us the next 4 years. That's far better deal than some P5 programs where you just be another recruit sitting for 2 years and get a chance for 5 games in your junior year and then bench to never be seen again. You'd be the hero here. You'd be more than just the big fish in the small pond. You're the fish. period. Your earnings potential, should you come here, would be the NFL money waiting for you after 4 years. The nightlife in Statesboro, Georgia is anything but boring. We have multiple very active bars here, and since COVID, the popping up of house parties has been a huge boom to the town. You'd had access to whatever level of social activity you want on any given night. You'd be the king of the castle here, and we'd love to give you the opportunity to experience all of it while you're here. We know the college experience is important when it comes to nightlife in Statesboro, Georgia, would be at the fingertips the second you step on campus. Coach stability is another piece of the puzzle that at Georgia Southern you wouldn't have to worry about. I promise to you that I will be here at Georgia Southern for your entire time here. There was a recent breaking news that I was quoted saying I'd be here for the foreseeable future, and I affirm that completely. We will lead that ship together for your career here at Statesboro. I am not leaving. You'll not hear rumors of me leaving. I promise I will not hear offers from other schools while you're here with me. Like I said, though, to clarify, he did squash any LSU stuff, so you can't consider that. But once again, he just randomly left at the beginning of the season to Georgia Tech 1 year without really any notice. He didn't go through the process where you like hear offers or anything. It was just a straight, he just dropped it at the beginning of the season and moved. We would like to offer you a deal for our full budget of $331,200 of NIL for this season. That deal would include a $100K endorsement deal with the local restaurant Nats Landing, regarded among alumni to be the best local spot in town. The other $200K of your deals break down into sponsorship deals with the local bars in town, free drinks at all of them. You own private VIP areas for you and your closest friends, as well as a reserved off-site parking space with your name on it that comes with a valet service. So not only will your car be accessible to you at your disposal, but also always away from the party scene so that it does not get damaged, trashed, or thrown up on. If you do enjoy your time at the bars just a little too much on any given night, you'd also have access to the athletic department's designated Uber driver that will always be at your disposal at any time. All right, and what do you think about this pitch compared to Houston's?
Definitely more in depth. Let's go one by one. Let me go open up the card. Earnings potential. How much?
So this one's
How
really
much?
close to where it's just negligible, but you have to give the slight edge to Georgia Southern.
Okay.
330,400, and then you got, where was it?
It ties into nightlife.
Yeah, where 331. So literally $800 extra. Obviously earnings potential, or yeah, that's $800. So earnings
Yeah.
potential, you have to give a slight edge. I do like the NIL deal more than Home Depot. So
Yes, it's definitely. I mean, it ties in. He put a little lure behind it. Can you scroll back down to
yeah, so
Georgia Southern?
yeah, so I'm gonna give Georgia Southern this one mainly because of the NIL deal. But when you're talking about 330K, $800 doesn't make a difference. You're not gonna go to one school over another over 800.
Yeah. Very negligible.
Yeah, I do like all the additional stuff he says, though, like designated Uber driver for your car, um, so that kind of ties into nightlife, which is number 2, which is also pretty good. All right, so that's earnings potential. As far as nightlife, how do you break it down?
I mean, Houston is a city. It's one of the biggest cities in the country. Does have very good nightclubs. Georgia Southern, that would all be, Statesboro. Is that a college town? I'm not familiar with it.
From what my understanding, it's a smaller, like just college, small town. Like it's not a
Okay.
big city or anything, from my understanding. Um, what, what I'm seeing here though is obviously Houston. He's dance bars, sports bars, clubs, the Proof nightclub. He goes into exactly what you can do at the nightclub, any club you want, drinks, food, VIP pass. So he's giving him all that. Nightlife here, he's mainly talking about, bar activity and then house parties. But he also ties the whole NIL deal into it as well, kind of offering it the same type of benefits like VIP areas, but he's making it more personable, like personal.
I mean, I'd give the nightlife to Houston.
Yeah, I think right now for me it's really neck and neck because
I
you
mean,
know
it's definitely close. I feel like Houston edges it out
yeah, so it's
just
1-1
because.
right now, and then coach stability. As far as like the clarifications, you have some rumors flying with Houston, but it was just reaffirmed. Same thing with Georgia Southern. Like,
You mean there's still rumors that he's leaving. GSAL or Georgia Southern made a promise that they're going to stay there, right?
yeah. hmm
So I think that one simple comes out to Georgia Southern.
And then I do think this is a battle where it's so close on all the factors that it's going to be the promises that make the difference. So if we go up to Houston here, um, making the face of Houston, where is his? Love to have you on scholarship to be my starting. So he's just saying you're going to be my starting QB, but he doesn't make like an I promise statement.
Yeah.
But saying you're next year to be my starting QB.
I
Um,
mean, reading through all the promises, Georgia Southern promises day one starter, no benching. Um,
yeah, he promises no red shirt, the 4-year starter, and then he kind of goes into the hero. Um,
yeah, I would give Georgia Southern right now the number one spot.
yeah, Georgia over Houston by a sliver, but yeah, the promises is what sets it over for me.
Yeah, day one starter, no red shirt.
I don't think we've ever had a battle where so close of an amount was offered. Like when it's like weird random amounts. Now let me just make sure Georgia Southern has that amount. He does. And then let me make sure Houston has that amount. He does. Yeah. So they both offered their entire budgets.
Okay.
Okay.
I suspect Harps is doing the same.
Yeah, so good afternoon, Mr. Trace. This is Coach Harps from the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors football program, and we're interested in seeing you in green next fall. We're looking for an electric player to jumpstart on offense, and I believe you are the guy. In this pitch, I'll be showing you why Hawaii is the destination for you. Firstly, we'll offer you $280,000 in NIL deals from Nike and Kona Hawaiian Beer, our biggest sponsors. Imagine a Tavares Trace brew distilled to your exact preferences, sipping on that while enjoying a nice evening on the beach, or an electric beach luau that happens nightly on the shores right by campus. That brings us to nightlife here at the University of Hawaii. The culture and the locals here, as well as the student body and the tourists, is always lively. There's never a dull night in the town. Like I mentioned previously, the beach luau's are always exciting, with fire dancers and local entertainment DJs playing all night. Hawaii is home, and I hope to see you make it to home too. I might not be solidified as the most stable coach just yet, but I'll be making Harps a known name when you think about coaches. We'd love to have you here in Hawaii, and with a $30 million facilities upgrade in the off season, you will have the resources to become a top name within the pool of college quarterbacks. Now let's talk about promises. Here at Hawaii, you will not be redshirted. You'll be a day one, not year one starter, day one starter. And I'll guarantee with our facilities, you'll be performing at the top of the league in no time. With you leading our team, you will get at least 2 bowl wins in your career, making the Rainbow Warriors a household name. We hope you consider us a landing spot, and I can't wait to see you in Hawaii green. So just clarifying though, coach stability is Harp has been considering a move to the AAC at the end of the season and is a first year head coach. So with that being said, how do you break it down, Hawk?
I think she definitely takes nightlife.
I agree. I like the nightlife because it's like fire dancers and all this versus, and it's just a tourist location versus a house parties, and
And
dive
then
bars or whatever.
also, I know the 280 is less than the others two by 50K,
Yeah, right around
but
50K.
the way she tied it in was spectacular. Yeah, Hawaiian beer. That ties into the culture. Let's look at the player card.
Yeah,
Earnings
I can agree with
potential.
that too.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, this one's hard because number one's earnings potential, so that's minus 50K, but we like her NIL deal more. We like the Nike and Kona Hawaiian Beer, biggest starter. And then nightlife, we are giving it here to Hawaii. Now, how do you break down these two coaches as far as stability?
Yeah, stability definitely isn't great. Harps has talked about a lot and didn't make a promise to stay there like G Sal did or Georgia Southern did. And I keep saying G Sal. Just ignore it, please. Everyone listen to the VOD. Promises no red shirt, day one starter, performing at the top of the league, at least 2 bowl wins.
Yeah, so all right, so let's look at the promises. So those are the harp ones. So no red shirt, day one starter. Uh, he does talk about facilities, which is an additional pitch thing that you can consider. Um, I don't think it ties necessarily into nightlife earnings potential or coach stability, but does show that they care about the program. 2 bowl wins in your career, that's part of it. So that's 3 distinct promises. Now, if we go up here, so let's just find everything. Giving you the entire budget. If you come here, you will be a 4-year starter. So day one starter versus 4-year starter is slightly different, but promising you'll be not redshirted. I promise you that you will not be benched or replaced by another recruit. So that's the same 4-year starter. I promise you'll be day one starter. So that's 3 there. This will help you make your jump to the NFL. G5 quarterbacks are becoming more common in the NFL. Unquestioned starter, just saying the same thing there.
Yeah, so he has starter for all 4 years, no red shirt.
You'd
She
be
has day
right
one
here.
starter, 2-time bowl winner. And what was the third one? No red shirt.
Yeah, so they both have day one starter and no red shirt. The other one is a 4-year starter versus guaranteeing 2 bowl wins.
Uh,
Bowl wins are a bigger promise
I
than
definitely
4-year
agree.
starter. But one thing that we can't overlook for JSOW is your earnings potential should you come here would be the NFL money waiting for you. So he's basically saying that if you come here, you're gonna end up making way more.
I think they're definitely 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah,
Is there
I
any more
think
pitches
Hart.
after this?
We have one from Smooth and one from
Let's.
Texas Tech,
So right now we have Georgia Southern and we have Harps at 1 and 2. Let's
and
address
then
the rest of them, and then come back and decide between them.
alrighty. Yeah, I think it's close enough. And then Houston would be 3 right now.
Yes.
All right. Hello, Tarvarius. So spells his name wrong. This is Coach Smooth from the Kansas State Wildcats. We love your play style. So if you come to Kansas State, you'll be day one starter and you'll have a full ride scholarship. He actually got the day one starter type this time. Like we say, you never have to worry about what your earnings are. We are offering $410,000 if you want to know the nightlife in Kansas is the best. You can go to nightclubs and hang out with your friends, or if you can find a nice calm place to eat with a friend, the choice will be yours. We have a good coaching every day and work with you in brand spanking new facility, working on your already established arm talent, working with chemistry, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. He doesn't mention stability. There's no sort of NIL deal. Um, while this is a
He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't go into detail with the nightlife. Just says in Kansas. I mean, doesn't talk about the city. Doesn't talk about the culture.
Correct. But
Um,
he is the only person to offer for above expected. Because remember, the expected's 376 and 410. And when the number one earnings potential, you kind of have to consider that as like a big dick move almost.
Yeah.
But then again, is only offering 80K more than first place, is that enough to swing the needle for earnings potential when you offer nothing else? That's the question. I think 80K, even if number
See,
one is earnings, is just not quite enough to just big dick it. Like, you got to offer something substantial.
yeah, I don't like. I mean, the pitch, honestly, like altogether.
And he spells the name wrong. Like, no promises. This one I think is fourth.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Fourth
Still
place.
over Coach Green's.
It doesn't make podium.
All right, last one here.
Can we talk
Hi,
about
I'm
Coach
Coach
Green?
Martin with Texas Tech. You'd be a perfect fit to start right away for our offense. We're trying to build a great program, and you'd be the perfect fit for the leadership of this team. We'd like to offer you the starting quarterback position in $500,000. Fuck me, man. Okay.
Okay. So if you're, the money is a part of this, right? If you're doing the pitches, you can't just ignore them.
No, 500K, and so like
Doesn't
more
talk
often than not in these battles with earnings potential, especially at the top, it's hard to lose. Like, just with the history of how we've done it, it's hard to lose when you offer a shitload of money. But he literally doesn't go into anything else. So just in but in terms of money, ahead of JSOW, he's 168,800. That's not a small chunk of change. And then that's 500K is over Coach Harp's 220,000. You can't ignore this amount of money. And this is where it gets super fucking hard, because like on one hand, you want to go through all the factors and see who's the best, right? But on the other hand, number one is earnings potential. This guy just offered $500,000.
I
Like,
don't think it makes
that's a
podium.
shitload. Like, even by Neil's standard, where 100K, if it's inside 100K, the money doesn't really matter. Once it's
Okay.
outside 100K, it really matters.
My way of thinking about this is you have the NIL, you have earnings potential, and you have all of these as individual check marks, right?
Yep.
Say, you give Hawaii and Georgia Southern half a check for the NIL and earnings potential. He gets those two, but he doesn't get a check mark for an I. Doesn't get a check mark for
Yeah.
coach stability. And in my eyes, also, isn't this his third pitch? Or no,
Uh,
this tech. Ignore that. It.
yeah, no, Texas Tech's only once.
I honestly have to say it doesn't make podium.
That Texas Tech doesn't make the podium?
I mean, you can give all three schools half a check mark for the NIL and coach the NIL and earnings potential, right? But
Yeah.
they also have check marks for the other ones. He doesn't.
Yeah. I will say, though, for this, is that one is earnings potential in this situation is kind of two. So normally there's three factors: NIL, the NIL deal, and then promises, and then additional pitch content. So that's 7 things we're looking for, right? This Texas Tech pitch, it doesn't. He didn't say anything about nightlife. He does give. He doesn't promise it, but he expresses how he'll make a good fit for the team. Um, and build the program around or whatever. There's no NIL deal, and then there's no nightlife. So that's 4 check marks for sure that are down. And then it's, but these other ones are like such big factors. So like, I'm just thinking, if I'm Tavarius Trace, I get pitched by a lot of schools, that I'm getting pitched like 40 or 50K underneath what I want, 40K, because it's 376. They're offering like 331, so that's like 35 or 40, 30 or 45. Then just one school out of nowhere offers me 130 more than I'm even expected, and my number one factor is earnings. That's where it gets tough for me, because I feel like if you're an 18-year-old kid and like you're gonna be like, oh shit, the 100K, how much can I do? Because 100K to like 40-year-old is not nearly as much as it is to an 18-year-old.
So where are you placing this?
I think Texas Tech has to make the podium. I think there is a conversation for first place, but for me, it's like razor thin between J Sal,
Texas Tech
Harp,
active in
and
the
Texas
server?
Tech. He talks in the Big 12 part of the server, like the chat. He doesn't talk mainly, but we technically aren't allowed to consider that. You can only consider coach stability, which is about the same as Harp's, only because they're a 1 year. It's first year head coach, but he hasn't ever said anything about wanting to go anywhere else or anything like that.
I just
So
can't support it. Like, if it makes podium, you give it 3 at most.
I think this
You
one
put it in
has
the
to make
draft
podium.
lines.
I don't necessarily think it wins. If he said anything about any of these other factors, he would probably win. But I think to have a guy, like, just to put into perspective of all NIL in this recruiting system, this ties the most that's ever been offered to a player. This would be like, you know what I mean? So like a guy, the only other guy who's ever gotten this is Taylor McQueen from Arizona, and maybe one other guy. I think Kiko Strong got 500K, the quarterback for ISU. So this would be the third one. So that's why for me it's like number one's earnings potential. Okay, you don't say anything, but you're gonna offer him as much as we've ever seen offered to a player, right? Like it has to, for me, at least be on podium. As far as winning, I don't know if 170K,
Can we get
like
McNasty
it's.
in here and get a third opinion?
Yeah, we can get somebody else in here if you want.
Because I think it should be someone that the server looks up to, and that's why I said McNasty.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't think he'll be available though. It's very late for them.
yeah, because you and
Uh,
I feel like you and I have a disagreement over here, and just there
yeah.
being two of us that can judge this, we're not going to come to a conclusion. Because
Um,
at most, I'd say give this guy his third spot. I wouldn't put him over Georgia Southern or Hawaii.
uh, I mean, it can't be any of the guys that I said cannot.
Let's go look and see who's on.
Yeah, see, Maple Mango might be able to come in. He has, B Dog might be able to. He's on mobile right now.
I I know y'all have had an issue a few weeks ago. Nick is on.
Um, he's one of the people who is not allowed to decide stuff. At least for the
He
rest of the season. I mean, I'm fine putting Houston, Texas Tech at 3, but with earnings potential being number 1 in tying the highest ever pitch, it has to be on the podium. It would just, it's like just doesn't it just doesn't follow the system if that doesn't at least make it up there.
What about B Dog
Yeah, we could bring B Dog in here.
or Jettas?
Yeah, B Dogs or J Jettas, both fine. Any of them are available.
Dogwater can't do it.
I mean, we've already decided that Houston is 3rd.
Out of Houston, Georgia Southern, and Hawaii, Houston is third.
Yes, so obviously the podium is one to give coaches like some confidence in their pitches, right? But two, it's also like there's certain things you just have to reward. And with earnings potential number one, and he's the only coach out of any of these guys, because this is the last pitch, any of these guys who offers over expected, it just doesn't make sense if it's not on the podium at least. I think when you factor all the other 5 things we are supposed to look at, there's a decent argument why it wouldn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this being, like, I'm okay with it being number 3, but I can't justify it.
I will agree to 3 in this
You'll
situation.
agree?
Yeah, for complete clarity, if this was the first week of the season, Texas Tech would have won this battle, most likely. But
Alright, so number 3
yeah.
for them, and now we gotta decide between
Number 3,
Hawaii.
Texas Tech.
Right now, where do you stand?
I think there's a slight edge to Georgia Southern, probably. I think if we go by the factors, earnings potential, he's up by 50K. And he kind of says, hey, you're going to be, your main earnings potential is the NFL money waiting for you. Nightlife, 100% give that to
Hawaii.
Harp. Yeah, Hawaii, it's a tourist place. There's so many different things, like you mentioned, the fire spinners and all that stuff. I think that's easily him. For coaching stability, it's tight, but the needle for me slightly moves for Georgia Southern, mainly because while Georgia Southern has shown a history of actually making the move and screwing a team, he also did make the effort to snipe out any LSU rumors. Whereas, on the other hand, Harp is a first-year head coach, so there's really no backlog of anything that we can go off of. But Harp has been saying that they may want to move to the AAC.
TC.
So I think
with Rutgers.
I think while both of these stabilities are shaky, you give the slight edge to. So one is a little bit of an edge to Georgia Southern for me. Nightlife, I think, is an easy win for Hawaii. And then coach stability, I think, is a slight win for JSOW. In terms of promises, they offer 2 of the same promises, the day 1 starter and the no red shirt. And then Georgia Southern offers 4-year starter, for his career, basically handing him the keys, saying, here you go, never going to fuck with you, versus 2 bowl wins.
This comes down to, a never bench promise and a 2 bowl promise, and how you decide to place those.
Yeah.
And especially at quarterback.
Yeah, it's splitting hairs, but if I have to put in a vote right this second, it would be Georgia Southern for me. Would you go Hawaii?
It's what I'm feeling, but this is also going to be a ton of backlash.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just, like I said, there's 3 pitches here that are all really good. It just comes down to these 7 factors and what we think about them.
Coco, if you're watching this, I want you to know this is a struggle.
Yeah. Like, the only additional things... Yeah, I think we can just say Texas Tech is at 3rd. So if you're making... So here's the thing, though. Is 50K enough over to make a difference? I mean, if we're judging all the pitches equally...
Last week, that was a negligible amount for a 5-star offensive.
Yes, it was 70K. This time it's 50K. The guy's number one is earnings potential, but you can make the argument that you have to judge the whole prospect the same across the board, and by putting Texas Tech third, you're also not necessarily, you know, you gotta it like you get what I'm saying, like because you're making the statement that 500K wasn't enough, then 50K, should that really make that big of a difference?
Do you want to borrow Coach Green? See what he thinks.
Yeah, did he say he's?
I'm gonna mess. I just messaged him.
Yeah, add him to the group chat.
He hasn't responded to me.
Yeah, I mean it's late at night. There's not options really.
I gotta bounce for dinner real quick, but
Sounds good.
B-Dog's at a bar, so he can't help. J Jettis never responded.
Yeah. See, so this is the when I made the system. This is was the point. Is I wanted to cause hard decisions and controversial picks because we wanted to have fun with it and not have it be just boring points. But once the server's growing, now it's too controversial, right? So, yeah, luckily this will all be fixed next season. I think there's a message in the server today that might have to come into play here, is that after his game versus the loss, Hawaii did ask that if there's still a chance to go to Navy specifically, if like the week's decision would impact if they would get offered by Navy. So,
Coin toss.
yeah, it's a coin toss. I'm not going to put it to a coin toss though, because that would have its own repercussions.
Someone just typed. Yep, let's get Coach Neal in here.
Neil's banned.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I can't let Neil in here if I'm not going to let Nick or Dogwater.
What about Rutgers?
Yeah, you can put Rutgers in here. And if you put Neil in here, he's most likely going to say the 500K should win.
Yeah.
Just because of his view on NIL.
Yeah,
if you can add him to the DM.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Wonder maybe do I have to? Or he has to be on your friends list. I would, but if I move screens, it's going to switch the recording and may potentially mess the whole call up.
Yeah.
And I don't think people would be too pleased if we lost this recording. I do have mobile though.
See, now I gotta figure out how to add him. There we go.
So if you add him, then there's a button at the top that says add. Okay, perfect. So join chat. Hello?
Hey, Atrioc, you there, brother? There he is.
There he goes.
You
Hello?
hear us all right?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we are
where we're
down
at
to
right
three.
now.
We're down to 3 pitches. Okay, I'm gonna read them to you.
Okay.
Are you aware how recruiting works?
Somewhat-ish, maybe.
Okay, so I'm gonna read you the player card. I'll answer any of your questions on the factors, and then And then you just want to kind of put yourself in the position of that player and make the best decision, really. Okay, so this is Tavarius Trace. He's a quarterback from Maryland. 5
Okay.
stars. He wants $376,000 as his expected NIL deal. Number 1 is earnings potential and factors. Number 2 is nightlife. Number 3 is coach stability. Do you have any questions on what any of those mean?
Earnings potential is like how much money they can make. Nightlife, pretty obvious, and coach stability was the last one.
Yeah, coach stability. So it's going to be whatever they say versus what's actually happened in the server, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
So the first one is Georgia Southern. So Tavarius, Georgia Southern would love to bring you to be our next legendary quarterback. We want you to be the next in line to lead this team to either bigger success. In terms of your earnings potential, we know that we do not meet your expected line for NIL. But with that said, we're giving you an entire budget for the year with a large increase in our budget coming next year. So while our budget is not impressive this year, we're also aiming to be even better player next season to put around you. The future earnings potential of you coming here is massive, though. If you come here, you'll be a 4-year starter without question. I promise you will not be redshirted. I promise you will not be benched or replaced by another recruit. And I promise that you'll be the day 1 starter for all 4 years of your career here at JSOW. That's 4 years of growth and development that you'd be able to get for future jumps to the NFL. G5 quarterbacks are becoming more common in the NFL. All they need is the experience while they are in college to truly grow into pro-ready prospects. You'd be the unquestioned leader and starter here for us for 4 years. That's a far better deal than some Power 5 programs where you just be another recruit sitting for 2 years, get a chance for 5 games in your junior year, then be benched to be never seen again. You'd be the hero here. You'd be more than just the big fish in the small pond. You were the fish, period. Your earnings potential, should you come here, would be the NFL money waiting for you after 4 years. The nightlife in Statesboro, Georgia is anything but boring. We have multiple very active bars here, and since COVID, the popping up of house parties has been a huge boom to the town. You'd have access to whatever level of social activity you want on any given night. You'd be the king of the castle here, and we'd love to give you the opportunity to experience all of it while you're here. We know the college experience is important when it comes to nightlife, and Statesboro, Georgia would be at your fingertips the second you step on campus. Coach stability is another puzzle piece of that, or another piece of the puzzle. At Georgia Southern, you wouldn't have to worry about the I promise to you that I will be here at Georgia Southern for your entire time here. There was a recent breaking news where I was quoted saying I'd be here for the foreseeable future, and I affirm that completely. We'll lead this ship together for your career here in Statesboro. I'm not leaving. You will not hear rumors for me leaving. I promise I will not hear offers from other schools when you are here with me. So also, Hawk, this is another promise. So technically 4 promises because I promise I will not hear
Promise not to
offers.
leave.
Yeah. Now to put into perspective, Rutgers is Coco here. He in the past he did leave suddenly to Georgia Tech off a whim. So as far as coach stability, you got to also take that into a factor. We'd like to offer you a deal for our full budget of $331,200, which is below the expected, of NIL for the season. That deal would include a $100K endorsement deal with the local restaurant, Nat's Landing, regarded among alumni to be the best local spot in town. The other $200K of your deal breaks down into sponsorship deals with the local bars in town, free drinks at all of them, your own private VIP areas for you and your closest friends, as well as a reserved offside parking space with your name on it. That comes with the valet service, so that not only will your car be accessible to you at your disposal, but also always from the party scene so that it does not get damaged, trashed, or thrown up on. If you do enjoy your time at the bars just a little too much on any given night, you'd also have access to the athletic department's designated Uber driver that would also be at your disposal at any time. So there's Georgia Southern's pitch. This is the other one we're considering. Good afternoon, Mr. Trace. This is Coach Harps from Hawaii Rainbow Warriors football program, and we're interested in seeing you in green next fall. We're looking for an electric player to jumpstart our offense, and I believe you are the guy. In this pitch, I'll be showing you why Hawaii is the destination for you. Firstly, we will be offering you $280,000, so that's $50K less than Georgia Southern, in NIL deals from Nike and Kona Hawaii Beer, our biggest sponsors. Imagine a Tavares Trace brew distilled distilled to your exact preferences, sipping on that while enjoying a nice evening on the beach. Or an electric beach luau that happens nightly off the shores right by campus. That brings us to nightlife here at University of Hawaii. The culture of locals here, as well as the student body and tourists, is always lively. There's never a dull night in town. Like I mentioned previously, the beach's luau's are always exciting with fire dancers and local international DJs playing all night. Hawaii is home, and I hope to see you make it home too. I might not be solidified as the most stable coach just yet, but I'll be making Harps a no name when you think about coaches. We'd love to have you here at Hawaii, and with the 30 million facilities upgrade in the offseason, you have all the resources to become a top name within the pool of college quarterbacks. Now let's talk about promises here at Hawaii. You will not be redshirted. You'll be a day one, not year one, day one starter, and I'll guarantee with our facilities you'll be performing at the top of the league in no time. With you leading our name, you'll get at least 2 bowl wins in your career, making the Rainbow Warriors a household name. We hope you consider us as a landing spot, and I can't wait to see you in Hawaii green. So those are the 2 pitches we are considering for first place. How do you like both those pitches?
Okay, so the 3 factors are expected money, nightlife, and then coach stability, right?
Yes, an important thing to say about coach stability I didn't say for Harps is it's their first-year head coach, and she's considered leaving for the AAC multiple times.
Okay. So, all right. The way I see it, what's it called? Georgia Southern, they beat her in the price due to having offered 50K more. Coach stability, I think they'll also have her beat too. Even though that apparently he left to join Georgia Southern on a whim. But if what you're saying like is true,
Georgia
she
Tech,
does.
yeah.
Oh, my bad. And I think the only like thing Hawaii has over it is just the nightlife. Is that's second like priority, right?
Yeah, so number 1 priority is the money and earnings potential, then nightlife, then coach stability. Our quorum here has been, is the needle that big for earnings potential and coach stability to outweigh the vast difference in nightlife? That's been our main quarrel here. And then in terms of additional stuff that we have to promise or we have to look into is promises. Georgia Southern has promised day one starter, no
Hawaii
redshirt, 4-year starter, and then also promising to never leave. And then Harps said day one starter, no redshirt, and then 2 bowl wins. So they both have 2 of the same. So it's really, do you believe his promise of not leaving, and the 4-year starter taking that, is that more than 2 bowl wins? So for us, this has been really close, but I would like to see what you have to say.
Okay, in my opinion, 2 bowl wins is worth more than 4-year starter. Because you could be a 4-year starter at Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? Like, if just to throw like a
Damn,
4-year start,
fuck
like
Vanderbilt. Golly.
I mean,
Yeah.
like no flame to them. It's just like 4-year start. Like it doesn't mean like it means a little bit, but you could still be dog shit. You know, like the team could still be dog shit. Like 2
Yeah.
bowl wins. I think that's a more valuable promise
Yeah.
than that.
We cannot consider current success of any teams, but by promising 2 bowl wins, that is a pretty substantial and kind of a big promise, honestly, because you are, you're guaranteeing success, whereas the other one is basically saying, I don't care how you do, here's the keys to the program, have fun, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Where do
Okay.
you
Then
stand right now? If you had to choose one of the 2.
okay. For me, I would stand on Hawaii due to my preferences. Cause if I'm in the shoes of the recruit or whatever, uh in my opinion, 2 bowl wins, like I said earlier, equals more success than 4-year starter. You know what I mean? Like it's a more promised success, right? And if we're just going with the fact that like I believe the promises, I believe that'll be better. I don't believe 50, like it's a 5-star QB. I don't believe 50K is that much of a what's it called? that big of a deal? Because if I'm like, wasn't his offer like 376 or whatever?
Yeah, so 376, they are both below what he's wanting. So it yeah, so they're both under what he's wanting, so he's going to be disappointed no matter what, right?
Right. And so like I'm like, all right, damn, I'm not going to get the money I want, but Hawaii is offering more success, which has the opportunity to lead to more money. Like if you catch my like if that makes sense. I don't know if that
Now,
gets factored into it.
well, yeah, so that's something that you can factor in because, with bull wins, obviously, um, equals more success, normally equals more money. What Georgia Southern actually says, though, in their pitch is about uh, how your real earnings potential, should you come here, would be the NFL money waiting for you. So basically, he's saying 4 years to grow into a pro-ready prospect. You're the unquestioned starter here. Then he tries to dish on some P5 programs, but Hawaii's not a P5 program, so we can't really consider that as a diss.
Her her program, right?
Yeah, for her program. Um, More of a big fish in the small pond. You're the fish. And then he talks about how there has been G5 quarterbacks in the NFL more commonly. It's just it's a complete shit show. No matter how we vote, it's gonna be backlash. Honestly, even
Someone's
bringing in Rutgers is gonna cause a shitload of backlash, anyways. But me and Hawk were very split on this one. Um, I would still say Georgia Southern. Have you changed your mind at all, Hawk, or no?
What do you think,
I'm gonna take that as
Patriot?
a no. Oh,
You
what am
don't?
I thinking?
Yeah.
Uh, I would stand on the side of Hawaii
And
because
Hawk?
like
A big issue with this is just the fucking backlash.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be backlash either
There
way.
was always going to be backlash no matter what. But like I said,
Because
I can't let the backlash come in because then that's just coaches can bully you into making a decision you don't want to make, right? Um, well, I think Georgia Southern is the better pitch. I mean, like I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. If this was a season 8 or season 9 pitch, I would pick Texas Tech, which you didn't even read. It all this one is I'm Coach Martin with Texas Tech. You'd be a perfect fit. Blah blah blah. We're gonna offer you $500,000. So he's just slapping his big money dick, right on the table. Um, and with expected as being number one, normally like in the past before all this controversy and all this bullshit going into everything, identifying everything line by line, right? It's that would normally have won. We decided to put it third. Um,
yeah, I'd put that third too. To be honest,
so so if just from my standpoint, I think Georgia Southern, I would pick them if we're making the precedent that 170,000 over the next best pitch isn't going to win this. I don't see how I can say that 50K then is enough to make up, the difference. Um, like I do like the two bull wins. It's a legitimate promise that you can measure. And honestly, if this recruit um, in the new season, if there isn't two bowl wins, then they will transfer. So that's something to consider as well. But Hawk, are you Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii?
It's definitely tight. Um,
yeah, I think there's going to be like I think one of the there's just
a
going to be an
five-star
issue.
QB and an outspoken member that has
Yeah, but like I said, you cannot allow coaches to bully into making a specific decision. Um, like because we were so tight, we decided a third member would be best because we've been talking about this prospect for 45 minutes. I think even
yeah.
longer. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
I think
Coco,
there's
you're gonna be watching this.
There's 3 different prospects that could win this pitch, completely depending on how you look at it. The way we're looking at it right now, 45 minutes in,
We
it's
brought in an extra person.
brought in an extra person, and I mean, I'm fine giving it to Hawaii, but it's just the same thing. It's like, this is just why I'm changing the system, is because, like, no matter how hard you try not to allow people bitching to get in your mind, it's hard to make a decision without that right at the forefront, right? So,
Let the record show I'm a grown man. I can handle this shit.
yeah.
Hawaii.
All right. So, yeah. Just in terms of how we do the voting and just making sure we're consistent in judging this prospect in totality. I'm fine giving it to Hawaii under the precedent that we are not giving NIL as much of an impact as you would first look at it, which is fine.
In,
That's just how
if
this
NIL was
battle
the
went.
main, yeah, if we were gonna point to NIL, right, Texas Tech would have
If you look
I'm
at
thinking the
this,
same thing.
if you look at the specific factors of everything we're looking at, I'm just going to do a full breakdown. Earnings potential, you got to give it to Jay Sow, 50K more. Plus, he talks about the NFL. Nightlife, we think Hawaii is just better than house parties in random bars. Coach stability, super, both have shaky aspects, but you got to give it to Jay Sow. If you talk about actual specific money, like I said, that's to Jay's house, that's 3-1. But then you have promises, which we think goes to Harp. And then you also, God, I'm missing my stuff. Then you have, God, what am I missing? You have, because there's 7. There's,
the
these are,
NIL
the
deal.
actual NIL deal, we like his better because one is just reaffirming the nightlife stuff.
Hers,
It doesn't name specifics or anything, whereas his actually he names Nike and this Hawaiian,
hers.
yeah,
Hawaiian
and
beer
then
thing.
additional pitch factors. I'm using air quote. There's really nothing much for either. Um, there
So
he
what
did
are the
mention
totals?
facilities.
What are the
So
tally totals?
so it's 3-3 is what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean this is
And then if you consider additional pitch factors, which is anything that wasn't stated on the player card that they talked about, Hawaii does say facilities. This is a whole different prospect. I'm just Georgia Southern, legendary quarterback. He's kind of saying you're going to be the hero.
I personally I get why you would say that. I personally don't think that would be that much because in my opinion, when you think of a hero of a football team, like the quarterback's like almost always the first thought, right? That's kind of
Yeah,
just
that's
like
true.
saying the obvious in my opinion. I don't think I mean like I said, I understand why you said it, but I don't think it really should count for all that much.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I mean, so the battle's finalized. It's going to go to Hawaii. It's going to be a massive shit show because of it, which is unfortunate. But you know what? Like, if you're listening to the VOD, we just spent 45 minutes diving into pretty much line by line. There was a big difference of opinion. We brought in a third voice, and I'm not switching solely off the voice, but mainly I'm switching my decision from Georgia Southern just because of the precedents that we're setting with how we view Texas Tech's pitch. So that's how I'm going to see it, and that's how these battles are shaping out. But yeah, thank you guys for taking your time, and Coach Harp, who left while we were doing this because she had to go. Um, Thank you guys for putting yourselves on the line to be ridiculed. Please don't take anything people say in the server personally. And the system is changing after next week. So yeah, that's going to conclude the VOD.